That intro makes me want to wear a cape for some reason. So before I start tonight, gotta get the slides to work. Okay. So before I start tonight, my employer has asked that I put this slide up and make sure everybody understands that. And I can't see you, so I need to hear you say, yes, Reade, we understand that what you're about to say has nothing to do with Patel. Okay. So I'm the design manager at that institution across the street, and every day I work with technologies, science technologies, that are going to have a profound impact on global health. My team's job is to get in on the project early, to understand the unmet needs, to visualize the possibilities, and challenge people's assumptions. We're there to ask the question, what if? Right? What if you had a medical device that could do this? What if there was a system that you could take a single drop of blood and get an infinite amount of information from it? As a designer, as some of you know, the most powerful tool I have to ask that question is a prototype. It's a physical manifestation of a what-if question. And as we know, that's because people need to experience an idea to understand it and appreciate it. So last year in my work, I was just losing my train of thought here for a second. Last year in my work, I came across a need in global health that was so obvious to me, and I was unable to work on it between the hours of 9 to 5. And this was confusing to me because I found the need, and I had the solution. I just could not reconcile the two. And then somebody asked me a question. They said, every single one of us has the power to change the world. What are you going to do about it? So, I'm a designer. I built a prototype. So let me explain the need. Every day, there are thousands of nonprofits across the globe working to solve the most pressing issues in global health. And while they understand the needs very well, very few of them have access or the ability to design, develop, and implement the solutions themselves. Let me give you an example from the area of food. How many of you have heard of pearl millet? Okay. Those of you I can see, some. Pearl millet has been a harvested food crop for around 4,000 years. Right now, there's 64 million acres of pearl millet grown across the earth. It is nutritionally superior to wheat and to rice. And it is grown by the poorest people in the harshest environments on earth. And for the most part, it's still harvested using traditional methods. I'm Mac illiterate, so I have to have somebody else do this. Go ahead. Oops. See, I told you. There we go. This is how they harvest it today. Now, pearl millet is a fragile grain, and if it breaks, the fatty acids go rancid quickly. It's estimated that this process, you can only have a yield at about 30%. They can only keep 30% of what they harvest using this method. So there's a small nonprofit in Minnesota called Compatible Technologies International. They've been spending 30 years trying to eradicate hunger from Earth. They were on a recent trip to Mali, and they recognized the obvious need for a more efficient and effective way to process pearl millet. And so, not lacking ingenuity, they came back to their workshop, and somebody unearthed a century-old wash roller. And they modified it, and they sent it to the USDA for testing. The USDA said, this is a fantastic idea, has a ton of potential. Before you send it back out in the field, we suggest you do a couple of things. You might want to make it a little more durable. Maybe make it out of something a little newer, new materials. Increase the ergonomics. Make it easier for more people to use. And continue to decrease the amount of broken grains that you get out of the system. So you have a small nonprofit with a compelling issue in global health, a compelling solution to an issue in global health. You have a team of designers and engineers who are looking for a new way to give back. And you have a chance meeting in Minnesota. And so over the past 8 months, this system has moved from a raw idea to a field-ready prototype that one of my colleagues in the audience tonight is going to be taking to Mali in December. The system has an integrated stripping mechanism, an adjustable height, and a hand-powered winnower. And the entire system breaks down and fits into a suitcase so they can save the cost and the risk of actually shipping it. They can take it on the plane with them. This is how it works. This is our first test. So our initial tests show that this system has the potential to increase yield by 2 to 3 times. 2 to 3 times more usable grain from the same amount of land using this system. Now, unless there's a Home Depot in Mali, I can guarantee that this is not going to be the answer, right? But this is going to ask a lot of what-if questions. What if there was a system that was different from what you're using today? Would your culture even accept it? Would you use it? What if you had more time? You didn't have to spend the entire day in the field. What would you do with your time? Would you seek an education? What if we wanted to get this built in country? What are the materials and processes that are available to us to use? Now, we're very proud of the prototype, and we're looking forward to seeing what happens when Tom takes it to Mali. But this is not the prototype I was talking about building at the beginning of my talk. I was talking about the group of people who actually built it. There's a small but inspired group of people who wanted to move beyond only being able to give our time or our money and give back what we knew was necessary. Development expertise to nonprofits with compelling solutions to global health who would never be able to access or afford us in a traditional for-profit relationship. This has started to ask its own questions of what if, like any good prototype. What if we were to scale this on a global level? What if we were to partner with major corporations and we became the development engine that nonprofits could access free of charge all over the globe? What if we were so inspired by this work we wanted to quit our day jobs to follow it? What if our day jobs would let us do both? Now, I can tell you that in the next couple of months, some of those questions are going to be answered. And that is what's been so powerful about this prototype, because what started as an idea is now a living, breathing entity with projects in food processing, water purification, and assisted devices. And we had no idea where we were going when we started. We just knew we needed to start. So, before I end my talk tonight, I want to challenge all of you with a question. Every single one of you has the power to change the world. What would you do about it? Thank you.